What's up guys, it's Will back again, and today's review is Silence. I'm so sorry for the delay in me posting this video. I'm actually still recovering from a nasty cold and you can probably hear it in my voice. I really hate getting sick, as you can probably tell. But anyway, Silence is a historical drama film that was co-written and directed by Martin Scorsese and is based on the novel of the same name written by Shūsaku Endō. This film takes place in the 1600s where two Portuguese Jesuit priests played by Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver head to Japan in order to retrieve a fellow priest named Father Ferreira, played by Liam Neeson, that is rumored to have denounced God in public due to persecution. Once the two priests arrive in Japan, they quickly realize that Japanese officials are persecuting all Christians in their country because they believe the religion is dangerous, and the rest of the film is spent primarily with our two priests as they attempt to bring comfort to fellow Christians in the country of Japan and spread the faith, while they also attempt to locate and retrieve Father Ferreira. Okay, so this should almost go without saying, but I went into Silence with some pretty big expectations. Whenever you see Martin Scorsese's name as the director of any film, I think most people are expecting it to be great, and while I definitely enjoyed Silence, I think it falls short of greatness. The biggest problem I had with the film is that with a 2-hour and 41-minute runtime, things can tend to get redundant fairly often. There's a lot of scenes in this film that you're gonna feel like you've seen over and over again, and I'm assuming they were intended to drive home the point of how conflicted the Christian characters are. However, the feeling of conflict and tension from within is something that you feel from the characters pretty early on and continuously. The problem though lies in the fact that they keep going through the same routine over and over again to diminishing effect. I don't really want to give any specifics for risk of reaching spoiler territory, but I'll just say that you spend a lot of time watching the same process occur over and over again with not a lot of variation. Silence moves along at a pretty slow pace, and the trailer would kind of lead you to believe this is going to be a super high energy drama thriller type film, and that's really not the case. There's plenty of tension, drama, and even some action sprinkled in, but this film is mostly different groups of Japanese and our Jesuit priests sitting around and talking about their beliefs of one another. I still mostly enjoyed this, but depending upon your taste, you may not, because I think this is a long movie and it probably would have been more interesting by shaving off like legit 40 minutes of excess content. But I don't want to lead you to believe that this is a bad movie, because it's definitely not that at all. It has a bunch of really strong elements as well, the first being the acting from a really strong cast of characters that you've probably never heard of besides the big three. Make no mistake about it, this is definitely Andrew Garfield's spotlight though, because his character Rodriguez is the one you spend the vast majority of the film with. While Adam Driver and Liam Neeson certainly portray key characters in the film, they aren't given as much screen time as Andrew Garfield is. Andrew Garfield is the clear lead actor here, and while his performance doesn't quite reach the level he did in Hacksaw Ridge, he's still very good here. He's an admirable lead character because he holds true to his virtues and beliefs even in the face of heavy persecution, and he's also pretty selfless. Adam Driver and Liam Neeson are both good in limited screen time, but I gotta say that I was incredibly impressed by a lot of the Asian actors in this film. There's one character named Chichiro, played by Yōsuke Kubozuka, who is great in this, and there's plenty of other really cool Japanese characters that have a lot to offer this film. I think Silence does a really good job of making you feel like you're stepping into a whole new world with these Portuguese Jesuit priests. When you get to Japan, the culture is so different, and those differences are emphasized very clearly and successfully. I think there's a lot that this film does visually that really results in a quite high immersion factor. From the costumes to the actual locations to how the characters interact, it all is pretty easy to lose yourself in, and that's a great thing. Especially the way the characters interact though. That may be the best part of Silence, because the film is very conversation dialogue heavy, and without conversations that were either funny or dramatic or at the very least entertaining, the whole film would completely topple over and falter, and it doesn't. But I do want to caution you that this is an R-rated film and directed by Martin Scorsese after all, so there are some things that happen persecution-wise that are pretty graphic and tough to watch. So if that's not something you really think you're going to be able to handle, then Silence is probably not for you, because there is a pretty good amount of brutal things going on in this movie. But in my opinion, that stuff is really necessary to effectively and honestly tell this story, because if you didn't have those scenes, you wouldn't feel as much tension and uneasiness for all the Christian characters being persecuted. But overall, I think Silence is a pretty good movie, but it does fall short of greatness in my opinion. I thought it had some really good acting performances, a strong sense of culture, identity, and environment, some really well-written dialogue, and some brutal, effective, and tense moments. Sadly, I also felt the pace was at times painfully slow, and the story has a lot of unnecessary repetition. I'm going to give Silence an 8 out of 10 and recommend that you see this one in theaters if you're looking for a well-acted and tense drama film and can handle the at times brutal imagery. So did you guys see Silence yet? What did you think of it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if not, let me know whether you'd be interested in watching this film or not. And as always, if you like this video, click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for much more content like this. That's all for now though. This is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next review.